Recording in progress. X39 has really changed my life. I'm not stuck at home in pain and in bed. I'm out here with my friends and enjoying my family.
Big thank you to Lifeway for helping me, helping my family, and helping the 100 people now in our team who are using Lifeway daily and their families. Big thank you. Love the products.
And I have energy through the roof.
I sleep better. I have so much more energy.
Throughout the day, I can focus better. I can concentrate in my work.
Our church worship service lasts 45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin becomes younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Good evening, everyone. Oh, isn't this lovely? It's sunny. Welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave X39 and our special founder and inventor, David Schmidt. I am your co-host, Robin Blank-Mascari, along with Gregory, and we get together every Tuesday night to share a very special company with you. We're here to give an introduction, and we know that many of you are brand new, just checking us out for the first time, so you may want to have a notepad available. There's some interesting statistics. I don't want to say statistics, information that you might want to take note of. So what we do on these calls is I turn things over to Gregory in just a moment. He's going to do a very short presentation. And then after that, we'll welcome our special guest for the evening. We have Dr. Tom Achlin with us this evening. And then it's your turn. And we are open to your stories, to your questions. So please put them in the Q&A section, and remember, symptoms only. So we're going to get things going here. So I'm going to turn things over to you, Gregory. Over to you.
Okay. Well, let's see. Here I am. Hey, good evening, everyone.
You don't have a stripe on you like I do.
You got the stripes. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring my screen up, share screen, and we'll just kind of walk through this presentation real briefly, just to give you a high-level overview of LifeWave, our breakthrough technologies, our founder, and this incredible scientific technology that helps activate your stem cells. I came to a realization a number of years ago. I mean, I'm just about ready to crest over the magical 7.0 or 70-year mark. But anyway, I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger, and I bet you many of you can relate to that. And let me ask you a personal question to ponder while we're going through our presentation tonight. What is one thing you'd choose to experience differently in your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? And what difference would that make for you or them? Think about that, because we're going to share with you a technology that could make a huge difference in the lives of people you love and care for, as it has already in the lives of untold hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people. Our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, or diagnose, but they do, however, help our bodies come into a higher state of wellness, and wonderful things can then begin to happen. So welcome to the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key, because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate damaged cells all throughout our body: organs, glands, muscles, skin, bones, eyes, hearts, lungs, you name it. Stem cells are there for you, and they help keep us young. And, so what about excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. And the problem is the older we get, the less stem cells we have. And by age 60, only a small percentage remain. And sadly, the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age, the slower we heal. And so what about stem cell injections? Because many of us have heard about them. Some have researched, and as Robin did before we found LifeWave, can be very expensive, very painful, risky, controversial, and no guaranteed results. Well, the good news we're sharing with you tonight is you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free. It's a patented form of phototherapy that uses very specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity and a whole list of other wonderful health benefits. And this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, he's a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings. And he's actually been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and development for over 20 years. He's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our LifeWave phototherapy products, and many other clinical studies are currently in the works. And that's because LifeWave is a 17-year-old advanced technology company focused in health sciences. It was founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology David developed for Navy SEALs to increase their strength, stamina, performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. And it turned out to be so effective, it was adopted and now used by world-class athletes around the world. We have corporate headquarters and laboratories and manufacturing in California, Utah, and Ireland. And we have global distribution to over 75 countries from 15 global distribution centers. Now, the word is certainly getting out on LifeWave, and LifeWave patch is now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. The media has begun to notice, and you know what? I bet you will too if you look closely at some of your favorite athletes and Olympians and you see these auspicious little white patches on their bodies. That's LifeWave. So let's talk about how does this amazing technology work? And it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. It's a mouthful, but LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. When they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, and they then begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light back into our body, which stimulates targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis for our LifeWave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes within the body. For example, when we go out in the sun, one frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D. Another frequency of light causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid scientific principle. Our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging, and beyond that, actually regenerative science. And back in January of 2019, a little over 3.5 years ago, we released to the world market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch, which truly is a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. Some are calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we're actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not been able to do. And that is X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our own stem cells, while also altering gene expression for over 4,000 of our human genome back to a younger, more vibrant you. So very exciting science here. And so X39 for LifeWave and for the anti-aging wellness industry is a game changer, and it's a true breakthrough. And David, our founder and CEO, says it's his greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on yet, because David spends more time in the laboratory than in the office. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very, very exciting news. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Robin, and our special guest doctor.
Oh, thank you, Gregory. I love hearing that presentation.
Thank you.
You're good.
I've been practicing.
You have, and you've been doing a great job. So it is my pleasure. Every Tuesday night, we have one of our practitioners join us, and we have a corral of amazing practitioners at LifeWave, and they're very special people because they devote their time to be of service to our community, and they come to us with a wealth of background and experience. And tonight I get to introduce Dr. Tom Achlin, who is a neurologist. He calls himself a recovering neurologist, I think, because he's expanded beyond the allopathic world, although he, practiced in it for a while at the Georgetown University Medical Center, and then he expanded into the mind-body medicine, and now he's become truly a leader and voice in the area of neuroscience and gut-brain integrity, realizing that the microbiome is many times, if not most all times, the source of much of what's going on with us. He's a brilliant educator. He's a brilliant guy. But bigger than all of that is his heart. He just deeply loves and cares about people and making a difference in this world. And I want to welcome Dr. Tom.
Oh, very sweet, Robin. Thank you. Thank you.
I love having you.
I love being here. Talk about brilliant people, you and Gregory. And I agree. I just love hearing that presentation. And it's so rich and dense and just stunning what is happening here. And coming up on 20 years of just breakthroughs. It's gorgeous.
It is, and especially for someone like you that has been around the block and has been exposed to so many amazing things and technologies. But as a doctor, you were brought to LifeWave, and it's always good for people to hear what is it, because a lot of people, I wish my doctor would get into this. What is it that attracted you to LifeWave, and why did you choose to not just join, but want to really share the great news of this brilliant technology, Dr. Tom?
Well, interestingly, Gregory had a couple of points in there about the power of the community, and we've all been around the block. Yeah, we've all been through some stuff, and I've worked with stem cells in the past and stem cell transplants in the past, and they work. They're powerful. They're great, but as he pointed out, they're dangerous. And so I was, to tell you the truth, a little bit ashamed that I had not ever heard of LifeWave. It really is, we're all over the globe now, and word is that last month was our largest month ever, and X39 being out, almost 2 years now, has really launched this company. Everybody's been chasing stem cell upregulation technology, and I love the phrase Holy Grail. And so word is getting out, but really, if it hadn't been for Ann Morrow, great friend and colleague for many years, and she also has been around the block, works in many, many disciplines. And I think the more awake we get, the more we want to know. Yeah. And so we're always the student. And luckily, I have a lot of beautiful people around me tonight. And what I have to say probably will be a little bit different based on who those people are and what the energy is, right? And I think that's a good segue into the cellular conversation, because we are 100 trillion cells and we look like individuals. This looks like a thing called Tom, but we're all connected. And if it hadn't been for the power of community, that's a long way around to talking to you about why I said yes. I said yes, because it was she, as my English teacher mother would want me to say. It was she, and she said, Tom, you got to take a look at this. And then when I did, I saw how many different folks from all different walks of life and all different kinds of torments, how people were feeling better and stronger. And then all of a sudden I slapped a patch on myself, and I was feeling younger and better and stronger. And I was in pretty decent shape, for coming up on 60.
All right. Well, there are so many dimensions to what we have that's possible. This breakthrough technology, this amazing community. I mean, the opportunity. There's so many dimensions, and you know, was a trusted friend that you really respected that introduced it to you, and that's really one of the best ways to reach out to anyone is people that you know have your love and trust. And I know that you've had amazing experiences with the patches, and I think it would be really fun, Dr. Tom, if you could share a few really brief highlights of some of those fun stories of, you know, we talk about and why so many practitioners love this product and technology is it enhances the clinical outcome of what they're able to do with their patients and clients. So if you could share just a few quick stories, I think people would love to hear them.
Sure. Well, I actually took a peek at one of the questions too, so I'll bridge, won't answer that question directly, but one of my favorite things, since you said easier to reach out, we found ourselves in a place where it was imposed upon us the past couple of years to make it hard to reach out. And it's also not lost on me that, you know, I was in probably the busiest year of my life when Ann called and said, please take a look at this. I was working 18-hour days. And so one of my favorite stories is me. And like I said, I was in pretty decent shape. I didn't have a whole lot of complaints, but I found new mental clarity and a new capacity to endure, right? And we're going to talk about inflammation a little bit tonight. It's not about forcing ourselves to do something when endurance really is, are you in touch with that native capacity, right? So there are a couple of locked in syndromes, and there are a couple of, you know, attention issues that have grabbed our attention here for the past couple of generations as we've seen our kids struggle. And that's one of my favorites, is a young gentleman who really was not in good shape. He was not able to focus, wasn't able to stay on task in school. And one of the very first things he saw, well, his mama saw it, and he probably felt it first and then had the capacity to be able to describe it about a year down, maybe 6 months down the road. But she saw him taking control. She saw him taking control at home and actually giving her instructions about what was next. And to see the young generation move into a space of capacity like that, that's very inspiring.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it can happen quickly, can't it?
It can happen very quickly. A lot of things can happen quickly. We were just talking last night, one of our community brainstorms, about the possible getting in touch with the trauma of the flood of information, right? Good news and bad news. And one of the things that happened quickly, this is another one of my favorites, a gentleman whose wife, the docs had basically said, nothing I can do for you, off you go, right? And unfortunately, that's what allopathic doctors do these days. But she was in trouble, and he called me and wanted to know what was next. It was just as I was learning these technologies. And I said, well, I would love to hold your hand and walk you through this. And she went from a place where she was no memory, very poor memory, very poor attention, cognitive decline. And over the course of about 6 months, got her life back. The docs were stunned. He was stunned. He was just, they started traveling again. He was over the moon. Yeah. And unfortunately, the other thing that happened quickly is she was put into a medical care situation and sort of squeezed, and she passed away. And so we were talking about that last night, about how, you know, the power of community in seeing all these stories happen very fast. She unfortunately left in an accident. And so I was saying last night, you know, do I tell her story because she's not here, right? But she was one of my favorites, and you know, and he's one of my dear friends, and that certainly put our friendship in a brand new space as well. So he's you know, he's definitely in my life for the rest of my life.
That's so beautiful when we can enhance the quality of life for people and give them hope. when that other world says there's nothing they can do. And we get to hear stories like that literally every day. So let's get into some practical things here. Who are these patches for and who are they not for?
Well, they're for anybody who wants to feel something better that you used to feel, that you miss feeling, right? Do you want a certain kind of workability back? Do you want a certain kind of functionality back? One of the first breakthroughs, David started working with the athletes at Stanford, and they saw huge quantum leaps. So it's definitely for people who want a better performance. Whether you're already a great performer athlete and you want that enhanced, or if you miss walking up the stairs and being able to breathe at the top, right? They're there for you too, right? And we all know what it's like to have those roller coasters. So there are no side effects. That's the good news, excuse me. There's nothing in the patch. It's not a transdermal. It's about the size of a quarter here. Nothing actually goes in the body. So there can't be side effects. It activates a certain part based on which technology it is, of a frequency of one of the physiologic life forms in our body, right? And our body is made up of literally trillions, bazillions of different enzymatic energy fingerprints. And when we accentuate those systems come up. So depending on what organ is in trouble, we have an answer. Depending on what piece of tissue is in trouble, we have an answer. And depending on what piece of behavior is in trouble, we have an answer. So who it's not for is folks who are very, very fragile. These can be powerful technologies. So a lot of times we have one technology, for example, that's a pretty powerful detox. We shy away from doing that if the person actually has a lot of debris on board and where detox could be trouble, right? Most bodies have been trying to say something for a while. And all of a sudden, when it has the energy to say that, sometimes it can be painful. So it's not necessarily for that, or at least in conjunction with the healthcare provider. And it's not for folks who are already immunosuppressed for a purpose. If you're on chemotherapy for a therapeutic, you certainly, the doc can make the choice, of course, but it's probably best to not take matters into your own hands and upregulate your immune competence, because that's one of the beautiful parts of this, is it upregulates the immune competence and the body's regenerative capacities.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know, I hope everyone heard you said that it's non-transdermal and it's safe. There's nothing actually going into the body other than a frequency of light. So there's no contraindications, which is so wonderful to know that it's just safe for people. Now, you started to talk a little bit earlier. We were sharing about it can happen quickly, but what can people expect? How long might it take for people to have an experience of this technology?
Well, again, it took a while to get here, whatever your version of here is, right? It took several years or decades, sometimes generations, to get to that place. So the different parts of the body heal differently, of course. The stem cell upregulation can be expected almost immediately. And it's not like you don't necessarily feel it immediately, but the clinical trials prove it. All of the other upregulation sequela that we've seen, all of the results that came from the clinical trials, they work immediately, right? Based on our ability to be in touch with our body, sometimes it takes a little while for that awareness to wake up. So we recommend 90 days. The first 30 days, I would say realistically, half or more of people see something within 30 days, and many within minutes or the first application. And but 90 days is a good take. almost everybody feels something within 90 days. And then some of the other tissues take a little longer. I was a triathlete in my 20s and 30s, and I broke a bunch of stuff, and I have a lot of scars. And I love telling people that my scars are almost gone. I didn't notice that happening until probably a year into using X39. And my coup de grace, so to speak, is I had an aortic valve replaced 5 years ago. So everybody knows what a zipper scar looks like for open heart surgery. And believe it or not, this scar is almost gone as well. It started fading probably a year into using the patches, and then I started paying closer attention to it, and it really is almost gone. You can still feel the staples, but I don't think it takes care of staples, but it certainly takes care of the tissues.
That's so, yeah, maybe we should get together and have a scar party.
We'll have a, indeed, yeah.
I mean, I have 3 very long scars on my body, and they're very thin because they do get remodeled. So, you know, everyone is different. And what Dr. Tom said is true, is it instantly starts working. It may not be on what you wanted, but it's on what's needed most, which is the important part. And we do have a health tracker that we recommend everyone, you know, start and fill out before you start using the technology, and get a baseline, and then in 24 hours, because there's many things that you wouldn't expect, like eyesight and sleep and hair and nail, you know, just so many things, mental energy, mental clarity, focus that can, you know, change quickly, but it may take time. And for some people it's hours, some people weeks, days, weeks, months, but it is working, and you will get that experience. And the more connected you are and paying attention, the more you're going to notice. Okay, so now let's take a look at how do we get the maximum benefit of utilizing this technology? What are the conditions that make it, you know, optimal for people to really get the best experience from using the patches?
Well, so the physical using of the patch, best way to do that is 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We recommend that for all the technologies. It's okay to leave the patch on longer, but it's important to actually have it off for 12 hours before you put that same technology back on. So that's number one. Stay really nicely hydrated. And the very best way is, you know, we used the phrase, "we'll hold your hand" earlier. And the best way is to stay in touch with the person who shared it with you and learn these communities. We have powerful Facebook groups that have not just beautiful stories about personal recovery, but how lives change and how people's interest in life changes as well. And so I really think that's a big piece of it. We don't point to that very often, but participating in you Gregory and Robin, you have built such a beautiful community. You've been, you know, people all over the world, and you just invest your heart in this, and you have brought people who are true healers. And I like to tell people, you don't need letters behind your name to be a healer. You know, this is a carrying the message conversation. And so I think that's a big part of, you know, how do the technologies, they work? They work when you physically put them on your body. And actually, you don't have to physically put them on your body. You can put them in your pocket, because they work if they're within a couple of inches of the body, right? And you can put them on your dogs too, and you can slip them under your husband's pillow. We've had a couple of folks do that. But really, I think a big piece of how this works is you stay in communication with the person who best knows the technologies, and pay attention. I like to tell people to keep a journal. Really suggest they keep a journal, not just of which patches they're wearing, but the kinds of things that happen. Did you notice your food choices shift? Did you notice your anger in traffic shift? Like that. And to the point of scars disappearing, take a lot of before and after pictures too. Everybody take a picture of yourself beforehand, not just the whole body, but
face.
But parts of the body that you want to see change.
Yeah, that was a shocker to me when I looked in the magnifying mirror in my bathroom, and I wasn't as shocked as I used to be. So it was pretty fun. Well, I think we better get into some questions. You ready?
Sure.
Let's try to kind of get through a few quicker than because we got a bunch here. So let's see what we can get through in the next short while. So Susan said, I have a friend whose grandson had symptoms of social impairment and repetitive behaviors. Beautifully done, Susan. She tried X39 and didn't see much change after 6 months. Any other suggestions would be really appreciated.
Yeah, this is the one I was pointing to earlier. The patches are working. Might not see it, and especially in somebody who probably, I don't know how young the young gentleman is, but probably in a place where he had been educated by his habits into not being communicative, right? And so that's a bit of a long-standing. He's used to not communicating, and so he might not actually be saying what he's feeling, but they are working. And we have other technologies as well. One of the great ones that we have for central nervous system is AEON, AEON, and we market that for stress and anxiety, but it's really, really great for brain health and the entire central nervous system and the entire nervous system. And what do you know, David followed his holy grail of X39 with a patch called X49 just earlier this year. It's only been out for about 6 months. And that also is fantastic for brain health.
Beautiful. Well, would you recommend the HAT protocol?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay. And so Susan, reach out to your sponsor, your upline, and ask about the HAT protocol. And I put in the chat, liveyoungerproducts.com if you want to learn more about the products, and you can learn about that there too. Okay, thank you on that. Meredith, what patches would you use and where, please, for a scenario in which blood and fluid seep from leaks and damaged blood vessels around the retina and fatty material makes it swell? There is also a history of carb management challenges. Wow, perfect. Good job, Meredith.
Yeah, perfect. That's thank you for not naming the name. Yeah, we're not allowed to say a disease state. And we're actually not allowed to say that we can cure or heal anything either, but the evidence is on the table, sure, yeah. I wanted to mention inflammation earlier and I forgot, so this is a great bridge. We talk a lot about anti-inflammatory and controlling inflammation, and it's a little bit of a misnomer because a lot of what we want in regenerative bodies, in a body that doesn't have to fight trauma, right? And by trauma, we mean you may have injured yourself. It may just be in the normal turnover of the inflammation of the body, which is normal physiology. The real question is how quickly can you come back to center and how quickly you can handle that. And a lot of what we have, even on our website, we talk about inflammation control and anti-inflammatory, but it's when you have the inflammation go up, this is what steroids do. This is what anti-inflammatories do, right? Pulls it back. What we really want, handle that thing. Inflammation is there for a reason. And we have these powerful technologies that are inflammation resolution or inflammation acceleration, right? And so what would normally be a longer resolution process is accelerated. We have technology, a 2-patch system called IceWave, which is wonderful for that. You may, this sounds a little strange, but you may actually want to put them on the temples. And I've done this with folks before, and it's great for the things that make this skull throb. And it's also great for the other tissues. Might not be a bad idea for Susan's question too. But Meredith, you might want to put IceWave there. You can also use a 2-patch system called Energy Enhancer. Both of those have capillary bed integrity results. And so that sense of inflammation is handled in the moment. It's people with IceWave, sometimes you can put it on an aching joint, and sometimes it's situation is resolved literally in seconds.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Would you also recommend X39?
X39, always, 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 always.
Always.
In fact,
okay, just had to hear you say that, you know?
Always.
X39 for everything, and then the other patches.
Yeah, it's if you climb to the top of the mountain and there's not an X39 there, you're in the wrong mountain. Yeah.
I'm going to remember that one. Okay. Jennifer's asking, one of my customers has had a condition where their small intestine bacteria overgrowth is occurring, and diet and stress can trigger unpleasant symptoms like constipation, bloating, fatigue, and cramps. And you are the expert in this area for sure. What would you recommend?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get too deep in this, but since we were talking about mood earlier, we actually have a patch called Nirvana, which is a mood. It balances the catecholamines, which are our neurotransmitters that regulate mood. Well, the serotonergic components of what we think is mood come from the gut, right? They come from vagal tone and they come from motility. And when you chew and swallow something, just like a well-behaved community, that's ready for a new voter, all of a sudden the body goes into motion, and so we create motility. It takes a little while, especially after that particular condition she mentioned is a result of not having enough bacteria in the gut, not having, maybe eating too many foods with antibiotics, and maybe actually taking antibiotics. So it can be. That's unfortunately what a big chunk of our planet is suffering with right now. So you do want to change the habits that got you there, right? You do want to put the body back into a place where it's eating a wide variety of foods, and you're getting the good stuff back in there and the good bacteria. In the meantime, though, I love these technologies because it doesn't take off the table to the need to make those changes, right? You still got to stop eating toxic stuff, stop eating fake food, but it does confer a competence, a tissue competence, and a physiologic competence while those things are happening. And those things happen more easily too. So Nirvana can do that immediately with serotonin. I think we're allowed to say that. And the other one I love is the whole purpose of having gut integrity is to put the body in a place where it's ketogenic. And that means all of those repair dynamics that we were pointing to before, the repair steroids can get to where they're going at the target tissues. The lipids can mobilize. Every cell, every one of our 100 trillion cells in the body is dependent on a wide variety of fatty acids and lipid delivery. And we have a technology that does that, SP6, boom. We talk a lot about it for hormone balance, but it actually does put the body in a place where it is ketogenic. It doesn't, and again, it's not a replacement for eating a diet that will allow your body to become ketogenic. But it is, it's a powerful adjunct. I think that would be a good idea. And X39 right on the belly, right on the belly.
On the belly. And what Dr. Tom said is really important, because David Schmidt, our founder, says this all the time. The patches do a lot of wonderful things, but we have to do our part. And I love the way you said no fake food. And, food is poison or food is medicine. And Tom is the master in that world of, helping to heal that part of our body, the microbiome that is control of so many things in our health. So thank you for reminding us, because a lot of times we need those reminders. Okay, well, you got time for a few more?
I got time all night, sure.
Okay, Casey wants to know, one of my customers has a neighbor who's pregnant and getting pretty intense headaches. She wants to know if she could use X39 or different patches. Would the patches help her without being harmful to the developing embryo?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes, period.
Great.
Full stop.
Yes, period.
Yeah.
Okay. And just,
and again, it's a great pointer. It's hard when you've got chronic conditions, and it's hard to pay attention. And sometimes that's part, we put the body in a place where it's actually physiologically competent, which is great, and the stem cells are rocking and we have regenerative capacity. But sometimes that gift of extra attention is the very best thing we can do, because then you can kind of look around and say, oh, I don't know when that crept into my life, but I don't want to do that anymore, right? Or you can watch the golden arches in the rearview mirror, or whatever you have to do.
Yeah. And just so you know, if you do call the company and you ask about pregnancy, the company does not test on pregnant women. No product company will test on pregnant women. So they will say no. And there is nothing going in the body. So it's a personal choice. Okay. But we know that they're safe. Okay.
Well, and to be real clear about that, Robin, it's
Mhm.
not no, it's that we cannot say that they are safe. Right.
Right.
So,
Right. Because we have not tested on pregnant women.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. So that's important for people to know. How would you approach fungus growth on toes, Dr. Tom?
Yeah, same. You know, the fungal overgrowth in the gut is, and the fungal overgrowth on any tissue is because the right bugs aren't there. The right microbiome isn't there. And it's an inside out thing. We have a great patch, and we have a question in there as well about skin conditions. Alavita is a great skin patch, and it's fantastic for all of the surface of the body. Skin, hair, nails. And we also have a cream, Alavita, that goes along, Alavita cream that goes along with that technology. And when you think about the outside of the body, I love pointing out to people that the lining of your lungs is the outside of your body. And the lining of your sinuses is the outside, and the lining of your gut is the outside of the body, right? So Alavita, any place there's a lining, any place there's an ectodermal derivative of the tissue, it'll work. Yeah.
I love learning from you.
And nails are they're a pretty slow turnover tissue. So be patient and give it 6 months, and then
We've heard many people have a wonderful experience with toenail fungus, but it, like you said, it takes time. So X39, stay with it. Alavita, stay with it. Yeah, great. Okay, Brian, Lorraine, a new distributor, has an extremely dry eye. She and her ophthalmologist have tried many remedies. She has issues. Do you have any options?
X39.
Oh, we've heard amazing stories with X39 and people that have had dry eyes. So
it's an exploration. It really, and again, the expert that shared it with you in the first place, speak to him or her, track your progress along the way, and then we can tweak as you go, because that X39 is the foundation. You get that on board for 30 to 60 days, and then you can start playing with some of the patches.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take one more. And Sunshine Rose, would Alavita help a skin condition which destroys pigmentation, turning the skin white into a blotchy situation?
Yeah, you asked about my favorite stories. I was working with a young lady whose condition I can't say, but we've all seen the blotchy face, famous blotchy faces of this particular condition. And I started working with her before I even knew LifeWave. She was making great progress over about 6 months. And then all of a sudden I had the patches as part of my menu of things to give her. And she also was bald. She went from having residual blotches to a place where you almost can't tell. People who know her, you can see, but you look at her today and she still wears a hat because she's a little
conscious of it.
Self-conscious of it. Thank you. But she is thrilled when I ask her to take off her hat so we can see the new growth. And I think, that's one of the best things that we can give people is that sense of, okay, I'm going to go look in the mirror for the first time today. And what am I going to see today? Right. And that's what's available. It's going to get better. It's only a question of when and where and how. Who are you going to tell?
It's so wonderful that the benefits are cumulative over time. It just gets better and better and better. And sometimes it's maybe more subtle, but the stories we get to hear are extraordinary. So Great questions, everyone. Thank you for participating this evening. And thank you, Dr. Tom, for sharing your great wisdom with all of us tonight. And we get together, like I said, every Tuesday night, and we welcome you. If you have important questions, get them in the Q&A right away so we can get to them. And then if you're a guest this evening, please get back to the person that invited you and get started. There is a 30-day risk-free guarantee, whether you're a customer or a distributor. We have a wonderful customer program, and if you're the kind of person that likes to share or can't not share, that be me. I started out as a customer, but I couldn't not share, and now lots and lots of people, tens of thousands all over the world, have had their lives changed because it works, and it's pretty exciting to have something so safe and natural, affordable, and most importantly, effective. So thank you all for being here this evening and taking time out of your busy lives to be with us and continue learning. And Dr. Tom is all about, what you put in and healing that part of our body that can make such a difference in the rest of our life. So pay attention and say goodbye to those fake foods. Okay. Right. Any final words, Dr. Tom?
Amen. You're amazing. Keep rocking.
Rocking.
Have a beautiful evening.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks.